Okay, so I've been looking at various visor treatments, water repellent visor treatments, and I must have spent 2 hours looking at reviews, all of which contradict each other. One will say this product is awesome, and the next one will say it's dreadful, the next one will say it's awesome, the next one will say it's dreadful. So I really don't know what to buy right now, but one of the interesting things that kept coming up was this, Mr Sheen. A lot of the guys were saying don't bother with all these fancy expensive treatments and things that can. I've seen prices up to sort of 60 quid for 100 millilitres of something looking today. They said Mr Sheen works just as well. You know, you have to reapply it fairly often, but it works. It gets the water to bead and run off. So that's what I'm going to try to do. This here is my trusty Shoei helmet, which I've had for quite a number of years, and the one which I will be wearing on my upcoming ride to Spain. And yeah, we're going to give it a go. So the one thing that I don't agree with a lot of these products and the advertisements for them is the fact that they will apply their product and then they will use a great big hose pipe or something to fire enormous water droplets at it. Now, if you're anything like me and have spent quite a few hours on motorways and things in the rain, I don't know about you, but I find that my biggest problem is nothing to do with the big rain droplets, it's the mist. Normally the mist that gets chucked up by other vehicles completely blinds me. It takes ages for stuff to sort of bead and run off and is a complete nightmare. So that's what we're going to try. So I've got, instead of an enormous hose pipe, I've got a misting bottle. So let's give this a go and see how it performs right now. Now, I don't know how well you can see that, it's running off in a couple of places there, and as the mist sort of builds up it does run off a little bit. Now this visor is pretty old, as I'm sure a lot of yours are. It's got a number of scratches and things, but it's perfectly usable. That, however, with that level of spray on, would be miserable to ride with. It is beading in places, and if we apply a bunch more it starts running off, but it's still, I would still struggle to see through that. So what I'm going to do is give that a wipe off and try some Mr Sheen on it. Make sure this is good and dry. Like that. Good. Right, so that's decent and dry. This Mr Sheen is a little while old. It's been under the sink for a good while. I don't know if this one is still available. Multi-surface polish. Blah blah blah, wood, glass, metal, etc. This is just the normal one as far as I'm aware. Does it say what it contains? It contains a bunch of things that I can't pronounce. Whether you'll be able to see those or not, I don't know. Looking at the monitor here. Probably not. Is that better? That's probably not better. Because you kind of want, they change ingredients constantly on everything. You'll think you're buying the same product years later and you're not. It's, you know, it's got maybe one thing that matches the original. But that's the one I've got. That's just some stuff that I bought from goodness knows where. So here we go. Bang that on. I'm assuming you don't need, how do you normally apply this stuff? Whole card, 9 inches from the thing. Apply the film, wipe off immediately. Let's wipe it off immediately then. Now I can feel that under the cloth, I can feel that now feels quite a lot smoother than it did, which is usually good in the world of getting water to run off things. Give it another quick go with another one. I'm only doing this lightly, I don't want to, I'm not trying to rub it all off obviously. Right, so that's it done. That feels really smooth now. And, are you ready? Let's do this. And that is running off slightly better. Yep, that is definitely beading and running off slightly better. Not much, but I think if you applied a little bit of wind to that, that would probably help. You can see a couple of very clear patches. Well, I can see a couple of very clear patches. Here there's sort of almost no droplets at all. Here it's just as bad as it was. Down here is almost completely clear as well. So I think, I mean, those are beading and running off as they are right now. And yeah, that seems to that's definitely improved things. I don't know if that's better or worse than a lot of the other specifically designed products for this use, but that's beaded pretty good, a hell of a lot better than it was. So the other thing is, people mention that the propellant and things can damage the plastic. Haven't got a clue. This is an old visor, I'm replacing it fairly soon before the big trip. So I'm not that bothered, but that's done a pretty good job if you ask me. Like I say, it's still bad here and there, and this visor is pretty damned old and scratched. But that's definitely improved things, so that gives it a thumbs up for me as something that costs next to nothing. It certainly isn't £40 a bottle. So what I'm going to do, let's give it a second coat. Maybe it needs sort of multiple layers, I don't know. Now that doesn't feel as smooth as it did when I first put it on. I'm guessing it doesn't last very long. Coat number 2. Sort of graffiti artist stroke. Maybe you're supposed to leave it on a bit if you're using it on a visor or something. Who knows? Let's try the old circular Mr Miyagi. So that's the second coat. I don't really know if this stuff builds up or not. I'm guessing not. It's pretty thin. Right, so let's try again with the misting. Or road spray in a bottle. Oh wow, that's way better. It's still grabbing in places. It's really hard to show you on this camera. It's still grabbing in places and holding, but nothing like it was. Well, I don't know what to say. It's not mind-blowing. It isn't one of those freaky videos that you see where the rain just pours straight off, you know, won't stick to it at all. And like I say, up the top here, the misting's terrible. just as bad as it was at the start. I don't know why that's a thing up there. But here it's way clearer, way clearer. I'm pretty sure if you had a bit of wind and stuff, it's still beading now. So if you had a bit of wind to the situation, I'm pretty sure it'd bring most of that off. Well, I'm impressed. That's my slightly crap and rambly review of the Mr Sheen courier's favourite or whatever. It was mostly couriers that I read that were talking about it. And yeah, I'm going to give that a go in the rain. Maybe if I'm not planning to go and ride out in the rain for a laugh, but if I've got this on and I happen to be caught in the rain, then I will update this review accordingly and tell you how I got on actually out in the real world.